Welcome back to another episode of our message recap, the show where we recap messages. We are a church and we give messages every single week, so we recap them because
I'm just thinking about something from before. Don't worry about it.
There's a lot that goes on before the show actually starts.
And somebody out there is thinking, "Boy, I wish they'd play that."
Could be. Nope.
No, we have to get all of the bad juju out before we start these episodes.
Juju,
right?
juju.
We can't let anything slip.
Yeah.
So we got to get it all out.
We better just move on.
Okay. All right, good deal. This was the third week in our series, Stress Less.
Did you speak?
No.
I
Did
didn't
you?
speak either. What the heck?
Neither one of you spoke.
Oh,
I did.
I think it was a guy who kind of stutters a lot and doesn't really say it. And he kind of repeats, get to the point.
Get out. Shut off his mic. What the heck? It's blasphemy.
It's blasphemy.
No, we took the week and we watched a 2012 message from Pastor Andy Stanley down at North Point Church in Atlanta, Georgia. And the reason we did this is because it just meshed so well with this series and something that we all stress about a lot, which is the idea of comparing ourselves to others. We've all done it. It's all happened. We've all, and that's what the entire message was about, is how, the key phrase, there's no win in comparison when we compare ourselves with others.
Gosh, I remember hearing that back in 2012. And it was one of those, not that I didn't know that concept already, but phrased in such a way, and the way he talked about it in the message was so applicable and memorable at the same time.
Still is.
Yeah.
For anybody 100%. During any time.
Yeah.
Because we've all done it.
I think it's great that not one person can watch that and say, "That's not me."
Yeah,
not
I've never done
that. One human being can say, "No, I'm not." Well, maybe not now as much. Maybe you've learned, but every one of us, I think we come with that in our nature to compare ourselves. I know for me, I like hunting and stuff, but this last fall, I just got to go to Texas with some people, and I was the first one to shoot a deer. It was archery hunting, and I shot a deer, and it was nice. It was awesome. I was so happy until other people started shooting a deer, and already it was like this feeling.
It took your steam away.
This feeling of, I wish mine was a little bigger. The whole thing. We do. Come on, we do. Now, it wasn't malicious or hateful, and I don't wish bad on people, but I know that I've used to in the past. I have. And not like I'm perfect now, but I remember really wanting people who are arrogant jerks to fail. Yeah. Like, you need to get yours. Why? So I could feel better.
So I can feel better.
Yeah.
We wish ill upon others so we can feel better.
And all the while that's not happening, or while you want the bigger it's just like this. He called it like this never-ending quest, this living with two fists. But I just think rephrase it as stress.
Yeah,
it's just stress in our lives that I don't have that I don't have that or they haven't gotten what's theirs, or man, I think I've worked just as hard, and why don't I have what they have? And it's just more stress building. Money, we talked about money and being discontent the first week. That's part of what he was talking about. Yep. But even in so many different areas of life, relationship, this thing about perceived equality, in so many different areas, it just causes, I think he could have used the word stress so often.
Well, and that's why it worked with our series, because it is something we stress about. When you look to your left and you look to your right and you compare yourself to the other people in your life, it does cause stress. We get stressed out about it because we're never satisfied when we're constantly comparing ourselves to others.
Yep. I don't know. I just wish everybody would. I know it's come into my mind often. There's no win in comparison. Like that has become a memorable phrase in my head that has helped me. Like, honestly has helped me when I look for more.
Well, and the whole concept is there's, like Stanley said, there's no win because there's no finish line. You're never going to reach that point of satisfaction if you continue to compare yourself, because like he said, there's somebody with the a bigger house, a fancier car. They're richer. You know what I mean? We chase that, and if we reach it, there's somebody with the est. They have the big est house and
I'll
the
never be an
fanciest
est.
car, and they're the richest. And so there's just no win if we're constantly chasing. Like you said, you're chasing the wind.
Aren't we kind of taught, even in Christianity, though, to look at it the other way so we feel better about ourselves? We're almost taught like it's not even a problem. Well, look at how blessed you are. You have more than others. Well, look at how blessed you are. You know, you can walk, you can see, you can, and we're almost
You're
using,
still comparing.
We're almost using that principle to help us when we look at people who aren't as as us.
Superior.
We feel better about ourselves. And what's really odd about this is it's a bad principle. We shouldn't do it. There's no winning comparison. Then why do we almost perpetuate this idea of, well, if you're having a bad day, look at people below you.
Below you.
Like that's
So
not
you
good. The
feel better.
foundation
Yeah.
of this whole message, the foundation of where the stress comes from, is that we are not content in who we are. Is the bottom line. And this is where God has the answer. That if we understand who we are from God's perspective, that we are secure in who we are.
Yeah.
We don't have to look. We could really follow this message as Christian people. When I know what God thinks of me and who I am to God, that I am his son, made special, no one like him. And I am really literally like the apple of his eye, his attention's on my life and me because I'm special to him, for all of us. We wouldn't have to compare and be jealous of those who have more.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't have to feel good when we think about those who have less. We would be absolutely fulfilled and content knowing that I am good with God, period. You know, and maybe we could stop even using that negative thing to say, well, come on, cheer up. At least you're not as bad as them. I'm like, really? Is that a good thing to do? But yet we've been doing it for years. It's not a good thing to do.
Well, Stanley even talks about that no matter what side of the scale you're on, whether you're wallowing in self-pity because someone's better than you, or you're wallowing in self-pride because somebody's worse than you,
yeah.
it's got negative,
There's
effects
no
to it no
win
matter what. There's no
in
win.
comparison either direction.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And that's it. I don't know. It's just
Just imagine, literally, if we had a handle on that in our life, and because this whole series is about stress, living stressless, we all want it, and it's attainable. It is literally attainable.
Yeah.
If we make a decision right now to say, you know what, I am going to get my value from God and not people around me. He created me. He gifted me. He designed me the way he wants me to be. I'm going to allow that to satisfy me. And we can not like it's a, what do you say all the time? Silver bullet.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen automatically. But all of these weeks is we can make a decision to go that direction in our life and literally live stressless. It's not just a sermon series. It's not just, good talk. It's these are life-changing principles. We can make a choice to live stressless in our life, and these are the ways to do it.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's also applicable to maybe the message isn't 100% for me, but I know someone that could really benefit from seeing this. You know?
America.
Well,
the human race.
because I personally, I know I can think of one person right off the top of my head that lives that way. Keeping up with the Joneses is his deal, and he's just got to have bigger. He's got to have better, nicer than fill in the blank.
I think that was huge too. And Stanley points out how many of us have gone into debt over comparing ourselves to others. You were dissatisfied with what you had because you saw something with something better. So you put yourself in debt to try and achieve that.
his humor's just great.
Hey.
Yeah. You have 8.5 foot ceilings. They have 10.5. Now you feel like you got a duck when you go in your house. Like, I wasn't 9 foot to begin with.
You two especially. Well, Dave, you do too. But you guys talk about like cell phones and stuff. There is nothing wrong with my cell phone. But when I see somebody else who has one that can do things I'll never need,
Why did I have to get a new one?
I now want that. You know, it's just kind of.
Well, there will always be something wrong with your phone because you don't have an iPhone. But
True dat. We better end the video there. I don't know if you can get more truthful.
Good deal. But yeah, I think it's something we've all struggled with. It's something that causes stress in our lives, and that's the whole point here. Is we want to alleviate stress. We want to live stressless. So stop comparing yourself to others. You don't have to look as good as me. You don't have to. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Jesus.
But anyway,
I'm so glad I can reach the plates in my cupboard.
you guys can finish it. But that episode will pop up here on the screen in a second. It's got a picture of Anley Stanley's face on it.
Andy Stanley.
Anley. It's got a picture of Andy Stanley. You'll see it here in a second. Click on that. Watch that. If you haven't watched the other messages in this series, go back and watch it. Let's start to live stress less. But
And be here this next week. We're wrapping it up.
yeah, it's gonna be a good one. Before we do go, I would like to say you pointed out you did speak a little bit right in the beginning, and it had nothing to do with the message at all. And you kind of just addressed, like, we're totally switching gears here for a second, but I think we can talk about it.
But it's important.
You mentioned here in Minnesota, our governor gave out some new rules as far as Corona, but you pointed out that none of it affects us, houses of worship. As of right now, none of it affects us. But outside of that, do you just kind of want to go over just a quick 30 seconds of it? Because I think it's important that we keep talking about it. We keep letting people know.
Meeting together in person with other people is essential. And I know we've downplayed that, and I know YouTube's awesome. It's a great tool. We're going to keep using it, keep doing more with it. But it cannot replace our in-person gatherings of any size, weekend services, small groups, whatever. And so if I would say this, I would encourage you, I would challenge you, those of you that have only been online, you have not come back to a weekend service or a small group or any sort of regular gathering with other Christians, I would plead with you, I would beg you, I would caution you, don't continue down that route. You are probably unknowingly harming your own spiritual growth. So I think meeting in person, I was talking to somebody earlier in the week, and I just asked them, hey, do you still, somebody who doesn't go to church in person, they still watch, they're still connected to all that. Like, this is not a judgment thing. Don't get the wrong heart. But I asked them, do you still go to the grocery store? Yeah. Do you still go to work? Yeah. Do you still go to Menards? Yeah. I said, and they told me, well, those things are essential. I have to do them. And I just challenged them. I said, I think meeting in person is as essential, if not more essential than those things. And I'd say the same thing to you. If I just believe that's what God's heart is. We are not designed to be in isolation. We have to be together. We can take precautions. We can limit sizes. We can wear masks. It doesn't mean we have to be.
We can be responsible.
We can
adults.
be responsible.
Yep.
But I honestly fear for people who are not actively engaged in relationship with other Christians. Like,
well, I just think if we allow ourselves
face to face
to make that determination of, well, this is essential and this is not, the easier it becomes to drift, not only away from here in person, but from small groups and everything that keeps us engaged.
And eventually I wouldn't say 100%, but I'd say 99% of the time, you are going to drift away from your relationship with God as well.
Yeah.
Eventually, it's a guarantee. Yep. Can I add something to that, which I think is so good, that this Christian thing is important. It's essential as eating food. Jesus said that.
Yeah.
Now, we can have a personal relationship with God without others, but we won't maintain it, I'll guarantee you. But I thought of it this way. I thought, what am I more afraid of? Am I more afraid of getting sick, or am I more afraid of the Church of Jesus Christ losing effectiveness and winning this world? And like, what's my greatest fear? And I would hope, for all Christians, I would hope that, yes, we need to manage risk. Yes, we need to be responsible, but shouldn't the fear of the church losing effectiveness, shouldn't the fear of not reaching people for eternity outweigh the fear of a virus, even a serious one? Because we look back in church history, what the church is really known for is that the church has carried on the mission when other people were too afraid. It wasn't fear of persecution. They overcame fear of persecution. They overcame fear of diseases in the first century Rome. That's exactly what happened. That's why Christianity became. Because, you know what? Everybody's getting sick and they're quarantined, but Christians went in there. Because there's a greater fear that we won't reach you than I'm going to get a virus.
I think that's part of it. I've heard from some other people, though. Man, we are way off message recap. But
no, we are. We've totally
fine.
shifted
Hey,
here.
Thanks for sticking around.
It's okay to talk about.
Some of the people I've talked to, it's not necessarily a fear for themselves. They're worried about, well, what about my mom or my dad? If I go visit them, or my kids want to go see them. I would follow that same line of thinking, though. What's more important? Maybe, I mean, as hard as it is, maybe we don't go see some family members if they're older at higher risk for the sake of the mission. Like maybe we sacrifice some of this and maybe we Zoom those so that we can be in person for our gatherings and small groups
What
and
is
reach
our
people.
highest responsibility?
Right.
Highest
That
responsibility.
sort of thinking. Yep.
And it wouldn't make sense I'm not going to do my highest responsibility so I can do some lower ones that are important.
Yeah.
But not this important.
Yeah.
Well,
And weigh that out.
And again, it's not judging. It's not
at
condemning.
all.
This is simply a mindset
Yep.
shift. You
Yep.
know what I mean? Rather than saying the grocery store and my job are essential, that's why I need to be there. We got to make that shift where gathering corporately, collectively,
I
as a
believe
church is 100% essential.
for our mission and for our own relationship with God. It is more essential.
And we can be responsible.
We can.
Like any other sickness, if
totally
you were
can.
sick, stay home.
Yep.
If you're not, come, wear a mask.
And if
Stay
you're
away
afraid
from
of
people.
getting sick, take precautions.
Take precautions.
You know what I mean? Not stay away from people, but
You can't live in a rubber suit.
Yeah.
But
we can distance, we can take precautions, we can be responsible, but we need to meet together. All right, that was a detour, but it's important to talk about. Make sure to like, subscribe, watch that message. It's going to pop up here, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.